Tēnā koutou katoa. So, European genocide and colonialism of indigenous peoples throughout the world is a crime against humanity. The term genocide was conceived by Ralph Lemkin, a Jewish lawyer, in 1944 to address the crimes crimes against humanity by Nazi Germany. But the perpetrators of genocide against indigenous peoples for more than 600 years have not been brought to justice, nor have they received any apology for the wrongdoings. European genocide was created by the imperialistic empires of Great Britain, France, Germany, Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, and America. Under the guise of scientific discovery in the name of God, gold, and glory, without provocation, they violently invaded the countries of indigenous peoples. They stole their lands, destroyed their language, destroyed their language, culture, and beliefs, and enslaved and exterminated the native populations. Millions of indigenous peoples around the world were killed in the process. Nations such as Great Britain and other perpetrator nations expanded across the world, acquiring immense wealth that benefited them economically and politically. For Māori, genocide started in 1769 with James Cook. By the 1890s, Māori were labelled a dying race. The population dropped from 200,000 to 40,000, and Māori land ownership dropped from 27 million hectares to 1.5 million hectares. For Māori, genocide has been like other indigenous peoples have faced around the world, which we've had to endure punitive assimilation policies, oppression and racism from white-dominated colonial governments. This has resulted in intergenerational trauma and inequities of high imprisonment, poor health, social decline, suicide, and failure in education, and forced removal of children and poverty. Breaking the wall of European genocide requires breaking down the walls of silence, apathy, and injustice by the European perpetrator nations. I've just lost that. So how can this be achieved? By the European perpetrator nations joining with the likes of the United Nations and central figures like King Charles to actually address the issues of supporting 12 indigenous countries that have put in a joint statement to call for reparations to be returned to the First Nations of indigenous peoples that suffered at the hand of European colonialism and genocide. Tēnā koutou katoa.